Hi everybody, welcome to Saturday Stitches. For today we are going to learn how to do a diamond trellis stitch. And when I say we are going to learn, I'm going to be learning to do it with you, because although I've done waffle stitches many times and it's very similar to that, I've never done a diamond trellis stitch. So I'm going to be teaching it and learning it at the same time. And I'm going to make my swatch be large enough to do a twisted head wrap with. So if you want to see how I make my practice swatches into a twisted head wrap, then check out the Tuesday techniques from a couple weeks ago, and I will link it at the end of the video in the closing screen. Okay, so I'm just using whatever size 4 worsted weight yarn I thought would look good with it. Just grabbed whatever was in my closet. I'm going to use a slightly bigger hook than usual because the diamond trellis, diamond trellis stitch makes a really thick fabric, kind of like a waffle stitch does. And if I'm going to make it into a head wrap, which I do with all of my practice swatches, then I don't want it to be too thick, or else it's going to be kind of baskety. This would be a really great stitch for a basket, by the way, too, so if you're making baskets. So I just went up like 2 levels of what I would normally use with my worsted. So I'm going to go ahead and start with, I'm going to chain up 1, and as I do with all my foundation stitches in the single crochet, I'm going to chain up an extra 1. We're going to do a row of foundation single crochets, and we're going to make it roughly, I'm actually going to make it about 19 inches long because they tend to stretch out. So once you start putting the stitches in there, and I do know that it has to be an even number of stitches. So we're going to go ahead and start off with that. So our foundation single crochet, and if you need help with foundation rows, I have a Tuesday Techniques tutorial for that you can go to, and I will link it at the end of this video or at the top in the right corner. So you just want to wrap it, pull through 1 for the chain, wrap it, and pull through 2 for the single crochet. So let's do it again. Go back in here so that you have 2 pieces of yarn there, 1 behind it, and wrap it, pull through 1 for the chain, or wrap it, pull up 1 loop, and then pull through 1 for the chain, and then single crochet. And we're going to do that until it is about 19 inches long. Okay, I am at 19 inches, and I am at 58 stitches. Not that that matters if you're doing it by measurement, because all of our stitches are tighter or looser depending on our personalities, right? So, but mine just happens to be at 58, which is an even number. So we're going to go forward from here. The next thing we're going to do is a row of double crochets going all the way back the other direction. If you do not want to do a foundation row on this, you can accomplish the same thing by just chaining whatever your number is plus an extra 1 for going up, and then double crocheting back in the chain. What happens when you do that, when you don't use a foundation row, is it's not as stretchy. And if you're going to do it for a head wrap or something that needs to be stretchy, then the foundation row works a lot better. We're having a windstorm, so my door just blew open. So the foundation row is better for stretchiness, and I just use them all the time now. But you can get around it if you don't want to and you just want to practice. That's totally fine. So I'm going to go ahead and chain up 2, and I'm going to double crochet my way back across this row, and then we will get into our trellis. I will meet you. I'm going to go ahead and stitch mark it just because I don't know. I've never done this before, so I don't know what awaits me. So I'll meet you at the end of this row. Wow, guys, this stitch is a little advanced. So the person on my Facebook group who asked me to do this, and it was a couple weeks ago, so now at the top of my head, I can't remember who it was, but I can see why you need a tutorial on this. It's a little bit, I mean, if you're trying to read it off of a pattern, I bet it would be super hard. So what I have done is I have marked every 4th stitch. So you start with the first one, mark it, skip 3, mark the next one, and then mark every 4th one after that. So there's always 3 stitches in between. That's going to make it so much easier to understand where you're putting your hook on this thing. And then what we're going to do is we're going to do a front post triple crochet into the middle stitch, the one right below it. And then we're going to do the next one over, we're going to do a front post triple crochet 2 together. It's a little advanced, guys. If you've ever done decreases, it's basically you're just doing part of the stitch, then you do part of the next stitch, and then the finishing part of it, you do both of them together. It's the same concept. It just seems a little bit more complicated because you're doing front post triple crochets, which are already sort of complicated. So good job. This is a little bit advanced, but it's going to make you feel super accomplished. This row essentially is going to be just single crochets. This is double crochets, single crochets. That's going to repeat as we go up. So the first one, you're just going to do, let's get that pin out of the way. You're just going to go ahead and chain up one, and then you're going to go straight into your front post triple crochet. So you're going to wrap this twice, and you're going to go to, see in between the stitch markers, there's 3 double crochets there, right? You're going to go to the middle one, but you're not going to actually front post into that. You're going to front post into the single crochet below it, which is this one. Yes. So go down here, grab the post of the single crochet under the double crochet, pull that up, and then you're going to work that off 2 stitches at a time. So you just yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through, just like that. So we're not going to do the next one till we get over here. In order to fill that space, we're going to do 3 single crochets in here. The ones that are marked, the 4th stitch, the 1st stitch, and the 4th stitch all the way across, those are all, we're going to skip them. So in the back, it's going to look kind of cool because it's going to have a cool texture to it. So we're just going to we're going to go back behind, basically behind this, and you're going to do single crochets in all 3 of those stitches between those 2 markers. Okay, now that you're here, you're going to do another front post triple crochet, but you're going to go backwards, and you're not going to complete it. So you're going to wrap twice, and go back over to the same post, wrap and pull up, and then you're going to work that off, but not all the way off. So leave the last 2 stitches on there, okay? And then we're going to go ahead and do the next one. So we're going to skip the stitch that you have marked. We're going to go over to the middle. So remember, there's 3 double crochets in between the stitch markers. You're going to go to the middle one, down to the single crochet underneath it, and you're going to do a front post triple crochet through that, pull it up, and then work it off. And then when you get to the top, you're going to do all 3 of those together. So you could basically just combine those 2 front post triple crochets into one top part right there. And then you're going to do the same thing as before. You're going to skip the one that has the marker in it. Aren't you glad we put those markers in there? And then do single crochets in the 3 in between those markers. Okay, so do it again. This time we're going to go back and reach for this one. 1, 2. Reach for that same post, but you're coming at it from the back side now. And work this almost all the way off. Leave the last 2 stitches on there. Are there last 2 hoops on there? And then you're going to wrap. Skip this, or you're going to skip this guy and go to the center post right there between the 2 stitch markers. So 1, 2, grab that post of that single crochet. I don't think I've ever done front posts on single crochet before. It's kind of cool. And then when you get to the top, you're going to put both of those stitches together by going through all 3 of those. Single crochet across these. And then when you get to this right here, you want to stop and you want to do your front post triple crochet back through the post that first one went through, only from the other side. Oh, and you don't want to finish it. You want to leave it on there, right? Because we're doing 2 together. So then you're going to go ahead and skip this, and you're going to do your next triple crochet in the middle one of those, but you're going to do it down below. So 1, 2, grab that post of that single crochet. And then when you get to the top, you're going to put both of those stitches together by going through all 3 of those, just like that. And then you just want to keep doing that. So you're going to single crochet. You're always going to skip the one that's marked. Keep doing that until we get to the end. I don't know about you guys, but I actually feel pretty accomplished already. So I think that the next row is just going to be double crochets if I understand the stitch correctly. But I'll meet you at the end of this row and we'll figure out what comes next. Okay, so we're at the end of the row. And what I'm going to do now, because we've come to the end of the row, we're just going to finish this off. And then we're not going to continue any further. If you're doing in the round, I think that you just connect it to the other one. But since we're doing this flat, we're just going to do it like that. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap it twice. Go back and grab that post from the back. So you kind of have to move your whole piece to get to it. Pull that up, and then you're going to go through all of them instead of leaving 2 on the hook, because we're not going to join it with any. So you just want to put 1 single crochet and then go ahead and chain up 2 and then turn it and do your double crochets back. And I would mark those ends because I can tell that they're going to be kind of hard to see. So just to make sure that you don't accidentally add stitches, otherwise it's going, I know we're just practicing here, but it's always good to be able to have nice straight ends on there. So go ahead and do your double crochets across and I'll see you at the end. Okay guys, so we are on the next row up. I just finished all my double crochets and this row should actually be a lot easier. I'm going to single crochet here. I chained up 1 and I'm going to single crochet and I'm going to mark it just so that I remember where the end of this thing is. And then we're going to do another single crochet and that puts us right in the center, which is where we want to be, because we want to do our 2 together so that they reach back and touch both of those, creating that diamond. So this would normally be stitch marked. We don't need to do it now, I don't think. So I'm going to go ahead and do my front post double crochet 2 together. We're going to grab this one first. Now you don't have to really count anything because it's all like figured out for you. Should be a lot easier. So don't finish it. Leave it there, then do your front post triple crochet. But this time, instead of going under just 1, you're going to go under both of them so that it just kind of makes it more pointy. And then go through all 3 to combine them together. And then you should have a nice little diamond right there. So then the stitch that this one kind of makes up for is this one. You're going to skip that and then you're going to go ahead and do 3 single crochets. That should put you right smack in the middle again. And then we're going to do the same thing. Front post triple crochet. This time though, you're going to go through all of that. And it's going to make it pretty stiff right there, which should actually, if you use this stitch to do a basket with like multiple yarns or even just like smaller hook, it's going to make it nice and firm, stand up by itself, which is pretty cool for a basket. So if you want to see some baskety stuff, I did a video all about baskets, everything you need to know, so you can check that out too. Okay, and then those 2 together. And then just continue. You just want to skip that one and then continue with your 3 singles. And do that all the way across till you get to the end, and I will see you there. Hey guys, so I finished the last diamond. Look at how those look. Isn't that cool? That's actually really pretty. We're going to now we're going to skip that one that this one kind of represents, and then we're going to do the last 3 stitches. And single crochet. And then I'm going to go ahead and chain up 2 and do double crochets all the way back. And then I'll show you the last round, just because it's kind of a repeat of this one. It's exactly a repeat of this one, except for you're not going into the post, you're just going into this. I'll show you the beginning of it, and then I think that's pretty much it. So we're almost done. Here we are on the next row, and I'm going to go ahead and repeat what we did here. So you're starting off this way, and you're not doing the two together on the first one. So this chain up one actually represents the stitch that we skip usually. So it ends up being the top of this is the stitch. So so I'm going to go ahead and start with my front post this way. Remember, you're going under both of them. And then this one you're going to complete. And then I'm going to stitch mark the top of that because that's the top of that stitch right there. And then you're going to go ahead and you're going to skip that one, and you're going to go, because that counts as it, and you're going to go into the next one over. Skip the first one, go in the next one over, and you're going to do 3 across. 1, 2, 3. That should put you in that center one again. You should always be like right in the middle of the diamond when you're starting to do the 2 together. So I'm going to go ahead and do these 2, and then I think what I'll do is I will off camera I will finish this, and then I'll show you what it looks like when it's done, and then I'll show you what it looks like when I make it into a twisted head wrap, if you want to stick around to the end. Those 2 together, and then skip this one, go into this one. 1, 2, 3. You know you're off if you don't end up with this right in the middle, because this is the one that you should be having centered. And then go back and grab this side. One, 2, do the other side. It gets really easy after you've finished the first row. The rest of it is really easy. It's just setting up that first row that's confusing. And just continue doing that all the way, and then go as high as you want it to be. I'm going to go for probably 4 inches because this is pretty thick. Okay guys, here we go. The diamond trellis is complete. That looks so pretty, and it just actually worked out to be exactly 4 inches, and I have my basically 3 rows of diamonds. So you ready to see a little bit of magic? Ta-da! My diamond trellis is now a twisted head wrap. So if you would like to learn how to make your sample swatches into twisted head wraps, just check out my video tutorial on that. I will make sure the link is either up here on the right hand side, you can click on the little eye, or also it'll be on the end screen. But anyway, so thank you for joining me for Saturday Stitches. I love suggestions because when you do that, I get to learn new stitches too. I'm just not teaching you, I'm teaching both of us at the same time. So if you have some suggestions on what stitches that you would like to see done, just put that in the comments. Or you can join us on my Facebook group at Ginell's Quarantine Crochet, and then you can share pictures of all of the things that you make. Thanks again for joining us. See you next week.